And now it is the 5th of July, which is the first Sunday of the month, which means I've got a pretty big day ahead of me. This I took towards the end of the day when I saw a flower. I did not bother grabbing the macro lens, but I was still pretty happy with what I got here, just zoomed into 200 on my 28 to 200 millimeter lens, which is the pretty much all-purpose one that I carry on my secondary backup camera. And I just clearly didn't feel like getting the macro stuff all set up to do this one shot, but I'm pretty happy with what I got as it was. Not a bird, though. We can look at birds, and we can talk about how at the beginning of the day, I arrived very early. I left extra early on this very long Sunday, which I also will say was made even longer because I got back home and had only, I had an hour or so to get changed and drink so much water and shower and clean myself up, and then had friends over to play board games that evening. It was a very long Sunday, but it was great. It was fun at every step of the way. I wouldn't have changed any of it. I did get out as early as I possibly could in order to arrive on location here at sunrise to take pictures of these gulls. Maybe not these gulls in particular. This was a rare bird alert that popped up 2 days before, but I'd already had plans and wasn't going to try on Saturday. So for Boulder County, seeing a herring gull, I believe, would have been a first for a lot of people, and that's why it kind of brought a bunch of people out. I have technically seen one before all the way back in Florida. My picture's not very good of it, so like I would have been good to see another one and to get that tick in Boulder County since, it does count and it's a fun way to, count it. It wasn't there this morning. I don't know if it was there and then gone. They do fly. That's kind of how birds work. But I did, and it was the talk enough to the point where I heard about it the day before, 4th of July, when I was out there. People were talking about it. And then when I was there here on this, later in the day here, somebody brought it up and went, "Oh, did you make it out to there?" I was like, "Man, I was there this morning. It wasn't there." Checked every side of the reservoir that I could get access to. Not a publicly available reservoir either. This is just from the road as you're looking. So sunrise backlit. I saw a lot ring-billed gulls, which are the common one to see here, but pretty cool. Still, I like the shot. I like that I was able to get out there, and it's a shame I didn't see it, but it's okay. I didn't go and drop everything in order to get out there, which I guess is what it would have taken on Friday, even though I was working. I did the best that I could. I could have gone on Saturday. Some people did see it Saturday, but then it was gone. Oh well. It's okay. I'll see other things. Like later in the day, I would wind up seeing a hummingbird, a broad-tailed hummingbird, which I thought was pretty cool. I saw it at first in the shadows in I'm walking along a forest trail at this point, still by myself. This is after I've given up on the gull and I have more time to kill before I go to meet up with the first meetup of the day. And I saw it there and went, "Ooh, that's cool." I took a picture of it, and then it moved out into the light, and I thought that was a little bit better. You could see it a little bit. Broad-tailed hummingbird, pretty common for what we have around here. I think the black chins will be back, but I believe they're still up further north currently, or up the mountain, if I remember correctly from what I've heard. Um, a lot of the stuff that I saw this particular day wasn't anything like super exciting. This is a great blue heron preening, so that's cool for me because that's an easy way for me to go, here we go, a photo of it preening for my collection of get all the birds and all the different behaviors that I can possibly photograph. And I did see it there as well. I will say there was a pretty cool moment where an osprey flew right overhead. I got a picture of it. That's probably the closest I'll ever see one in flight directly above us, and I really like all the detail that came out with that. Pretty cool about that. It was also being chased at one point. I didn't get the best photo of it. My friend did, but the kingbird was a lot closer to it when that happened. It was more like right over, almost touching, and I got the photo here when they were still kind of further apart, but still to see them in either way, I was super happy about. I did learn pelicans. There are a few different kinds. And by that, I mean of the American white pelican, which is what we have. There are a few different variations that you could see depending on the time of year when they're all white and they have that plate on their bill, that big nodule that comes out, because we can't determine the sex, the gender of a pelican by looking at it in any way. They're just, you can't tell the male or female apart. So it used to be thought that only the males would grow that plate on their bill, but that's not true. So instead, it's if they have the plate, then they're breeding. If they don't have the plate and they've got an all-white head, they're just not breeding at all that year. Or they were breeding, they've lost their plate, and they have the dark feathers all over the head because they're feeding a chick. That's what this one would have been. I did not see a chick anywhere. So maybe it was out getting food and then it brings it back. I don't know enough about pelicans to know whether or not that's the case, or maybe it's done and the chick has been raised enough. I don't know. But I went, I've never really seen it. I've seen a couple times now where they've got dark colors to the head. And I hadn't seen that before this point. So noted that and looked it up in the bird book, which was pretty cool. Um, Not too much else. Was pretty happy about getting the swallow here. I've got a barn swallow, photo of a barn swallow because of the forks to the tail. You can tell that as opposed to the cliff swallow, which would not have any of that. And I actually just noticed I named these incorrectly. I hope I fixed that by the time I uploaded them, and I hope I put them in the right section because otherwise these are in the wrong place and I've misidentified it. That's cool though. It was pretty close up. And speaking of swallows being very close, right at the end of our first trip to the day, as we were out, there was a pair of tree swallows sitting here. Maybe they were young, maybe not. They were just sitting. I thought it was really cute to just see the two of them side by side on the top of this branch right near the end of the trail. Just took some pictures of them and hung out for a while, watched them. It was great. A really good time out overall. Mm, I think that's probably along the second half, there wasn't too much. It was very hot, not a lot of birds, but still enough. Um, and we still saw this here, which I thought was neat. It says Phoebe. I believe we have adults on the left and right side, and then the one in the middle would be a juvenile, mouth open, going, "Feed me, feed me." Um, if I remember correctly from what we were saying about it while we were out there this day. So overall, still a good time out. Even if I didn't see a rare bird or get the best of photos of any other ones, I'm certainly happy with what I got. And I haven't seen too many of these things. Still a fun time out. I had a great time. So what more can you ask for? That'll do it. Bye, buddy.